What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. It's a victory show today, all right? The lads taking care of business against Udinese in the 2-0 victory. Fate still remains in our hands, and we're going to tackle everything that was that victory. We are going to not talk about the Leafs. I see it in the chat already. Just leave me be, okay? And no, there was no tears to wipe away, Tomas, okay? I'm very, very familiar with this territory. Okay, you guys? I'm very, very, very familiar with it. So, yeah, we're going to leave it at that. But there is already a storm in the barn, Calvin Jones. You should watch Urinating Trees video on the Leafs. Number one, I don't know what that is. That's a hell of a bold statement as a name, okay? But Urinating Trees video on the Leafs. A gentle video that reflects positively on the season and will make you feel better. Listen, that jersey's already in the back of the closet there. It's done. Hockey season over. I'm good. I'm done. We still have business to take care of with the Leafs, and that's where we're going to focus, okay? With Juve, excuse me, not the Leafs. God, we got business with Juve to take care of. Now, I got Sev. I got Mas with me. Fellas, how you doing? Mas, how you doing?
Listen, we need a totally separate podcast just to talk about the Leafs. We don't have enough time to fit that in this one. So
I don't have time in my life to handle a Leafs podcast because it would just be
on.
madness. Madness.
Listen, it's a long weekend. We're coming off a Juve win. I mean, can it be any better? Unless you're a Leaf fan, of course.
Of course. Seth, how you do? Look at the flag in the back. Look at that.
I'm happy. I got a victory show. I'm unveiling my new flag. Let's go.
I like that. I like that. All right. We got some comments already coming in the game saying only positive is Mr. Yildiz. Is that true? Well, we'll break it all down. We're going to have some fun. We've got some news headlines. We'll obviously look at the news headlines a little more in depth on the back side of things. But real quick, for those headlines, you've got Rugani. Yes, could be back and beyond Club World Cup. Juve making a move on Theo Hernandez. Facundo Gonzalez, medical set midweek. All right, so those are three of the headlines floating around right now. And then, of course, the standard with Conte. Allegri potentially going to Napoli. All this. Yes, we'll look at news headlines on the backside of it. Right now, we're going to go through the game. And we had a starting lineup that had one change leading up to game time from what was projected. And that one change was Timothy Weah was not going to end up starting, and Chico Conceição got the surprise nod in what was announced right before the game. So that was interesting. So we ended up seeing 4-4-2, Di Gregorio, Alberto getting the nod, and then you had Kelly and Vega as your two CBs. You had Kambiaso outside left across the middle. Talked about it. Conceição getting the nod. Nico Gonzalez getting the nod. Locatelli and McKennie in the midfield. Maybe one of the first times we saw McKennie in the actual friggin' midfield for a long time. And then Kolomuani and Kenan Yildiz up top. So that one came out of the blue, but it didn't even faze me. I was like, yeah, Chico playing? Sure. No problem. Weah or Chico, I would have been absolutely fine with it. But what do you think about Tudor's decision? Because we didn't have you guys on the pregame show with that 4-4-2 call and the lineup going into it. Well, a bunch of us on the pregame show all felt kind of the same, that we wouldn't move a midfielder back to keep that back three. And 4-4-2 seemed to be the most reasonable, especially with fullbacks if they were bombing forward and pushing Nico and Chico higher up the pitch and giving them freedom, which is what we saw. How'd you feel about it? We'll start with Mas.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see that Tudor had a little flexibility in changing the formation, especially in a big game like that, right?
Yeah.
So that was good to see. In terms of the actual lineup, based on what we had available, I mean, what other way could you go, essentially? The only thing that kind of stood out to me, and it was kind of a funny thing, but like McKennie getting the start in the mid just shows you how far down the pecking order Douglas Luiz has pretty much fallen, right? I mean, we spent X amount of money on this guy, and he can't even crack the lineup, right? We're bringing him in for 5-10 minute stints at the end of games. So Um, and I liked Alberto starting on the right too. I think the last game he played, he showed that there's something there. It's he just needs a little more playing time. So I think he earned the right to start there. But overall, I mean, again, based on what we had available, it was the right way to go.
There you go. There you go. And Seb, what'd you think about Tudor
I
going with
liked
that
it.
4-4-2?
I liked it. I actually been saying for a while. I'm not a big. I think the 3-5-2. You have to have the players for a 3-5-2. I personally think that we have the players more for a four-man backline. Like with all the, like I like Weah more as a fullback than I do as a wingback, or I like Kambiaso more as a fullback than a wingback. Like I just like our players. I think it fits better with a four-man backline. But I agree with Mas on that one. Like that was actually shocking to me that McKennie started as a midfielder over Douglas. Like I'm like, come on, man, this is crazy. 60 million for this guy, and he's just, oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about Luis a bit later as he did come into the match and stuff, but McKennie's just he's that guy, man. He's got that
Well,
trust.
they trust him.
He's in
They
this
trust him.
thing with Locatelli, is another guy that no matter the coaches that come in, they seem to trust these guys. And
Yep.
yeah, if you're gonna, I think the way it played out, it made a hell of a lot more sense to have Mac in there than Luis from the start because we were bombing the fullbacks. The outsides were getting very, very high. Chico was moving from left to right. He wasn't even clamped down as a left outside mid. And neither was Nico really clamped down to his flank. They were all over the place. They were buzzing around. So to have McKennie's stability in there probably made more sense to start that way. Douglas Luiz, yeah, well, we'll talk about when he came in because he did come in pretty lively, good energy, which is something Tudor has been preaching that he wants from day one, right? But that's it for the lineup. And yeah, I agree. Ultimately, Tudor showing a little bit of flexibility and that he's willing to go away from his main setup. Now, first half, holy smokes, like created good, worked very, very well. I think we had Conceição on an early free kick that he took, couldn't get it to quite dip enough. We were buzzing all over the place. There was a header from Nico Gonzalez on a good cross from Kambiaso that he just couldn't direct towards goal, went high. We had Locatelli almost curling one after Chico found him on a trailing run. That's another thing in Chico's game today. Yesterday, he did a fantastic job of backing up the defenders, pinning them back, but we looked for the trailing run. It's almost like somebody had come on a show a million times over and said, why do we always like just force instead of just look for the guys at the top of the area and have them shoot? We were doing exactly that. Loca just couldn't quite bend one in. We could have walked away in the first half on a couple goals. We didn't. But it was a half where we dominated. Udinese didn't get a sniff. And really, ultimately, in the entire game, they didn't get a sniff. They got like a couple shots off turnovers that Di Gregorio handled wonderfully. No rebounds given. He was sure-handed as all hell yesterday. But you're a little nervous when it's 0-0 at halftime because you're like, man, are you serious? Were you guys nervous? I was getting a little nervous.
I don't know if I was nervous. I was more a little frustrated because I
Yeah,
loved the
frustrated
way
is a
they
good
were
way to
playing.
put it for sure.
Yeah, I loved the way they were playing, but it was always that same old final third. We can't just bury it. We can't just execute the final thing. But
Yeah.
other than that, I loved the way we were playing, and I loved the trailing runs. Like you said, we weren't doing so many of the send it over from the back line all the way up to the front line, like trying to head it in. We weren't doing that as much, so I was happy with that. But frustrated, yeah. Should have been like 2-0 in that first half.
Yeah. And then, Mas, what were your feelings at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, based on the way the season's gone, could you be anything but nervous? I mean, we've had
Exactly.
trouble. we've we've had trouble all season with 0-0s, right? So, but Sev nailed it. I mean, ineffectiveness again in the final third. The half went the way it went. We just didn't have that goal in us. I think you look at attempts. We had 16 attempts. I believe we had almost
Yeah.
double digits in corners. And can we find somebody who can take a free kick, please? Somebody. Anybody.
Oh my God.
A
Yep.
proper free kick.
What do you mean?
That
We got
that was
Vega.
that's what I took away. You know what? When he booted that one into the stands, I'm like, Berto for sure is saying something in his head right there.
I
I'm
was
like, oh, they're
all
gonna rip
over
this
that.
guy in
I'm
the
like,
chat, for
Jesus,
sure.
nobody in the stadium is safe when this guy lines one up, for God's
Yeah.
sakes. My God.
He's just got to stop shooting. That's it. That's
I
all
said
it is.
he's got
gotta
to
stop
even
shooting.
it out because the stash is too top heavy, so he's leaning back, right? So he needs the beard to pull the fucking head down a little bit so he can get over it and start zooming him in. But yeah, I don't know. I liked a lot of things about the first half, despite us being 0-0. I liked the fact that we were mixing it up. It wasn't the same thing over and over. I liked the urgency. I liked the tempo in our play. It wasn't slow. It was like, okay, we're going at them. We're going to extend waves of pressure. And we were doing that. And we were sustaining the pressure. I liked that we weren't just always throwing crosses in. It was like, okay, we throw a couple crosses in. Okay, now when Yildiz had it, he would try to work 1-2s, try to dribble in, and that allowed them to collapse as well. And then the next round, you're looking for someone in the trailing run. We were mixing it up very well, and we were getting a lot of chances. So while I was nervous that it was 0-0 and I want us to score, I still liked what the team was actually doing. And I thought that the fluidity across from left to right, the balance was great. Kambiaso on the left doing his thing, Costa on the right doing his thing, and it allowed Gonzalez and Chico to have freedom. They were buzzing all over the place. That's exactly what you want to do against a team that is going to park it. That's exactly how you want to play it. So strategy, formation, setup, everything spot on. Now, second half, finally, it comes and we get rewarded. And it's funny how it comes because it's like, we're going for the shove on Chico. He's upset. He's making his run into the area. He goes down out the end line. I believe it was Soleil, tries to work it back, and Nico Gonzalez cuts in front of him. And then, of course, all the lobbying. Referee immediately, no, play on. Wait, he's staring right at it. No, play on. And then we pick up the ball. It's Yildiz. Beats the first man, feeds it right back to Nico. Nico has horseshoes up his ass yesterday because if you watch that touch, his first touch, and then it bobbles off his knee. And don't ask me how on earth the ball sits off his knee and still just pops up for him to smash into that goal. But I'll take it because he got very, very lucky on that touch because it easily could have been a bobble off his knee and then just into the hands of the keeper. But hey, sometimes you got to be lucky. We were lucky on that one. 1-0. The lobbying for the call, obviously looking at and everything, but VAR can't even really step in. So I was surprised that there was even a little bit of a delay there because it's not clear and obvious error when the referee is staring right at it and waves no foul. That means he saw it, he made his decision, and VAR cannot step in. He didn't miss anything. He saw it. Plain as day. So that's the end of it. 1-0 for Juve. And that's we needed that one goal. And we did seal it. And it was Vlahovic breaking a drought, a hell of a drought. February 23rd, the last time this guy scored a goal for Juventus. Okay. Last one at Allianz Stadium. Most likely. Probably. Highly probable, okay? But Yildiz picks up this ball in the 80th minute in space and just keeps trucking. He's just making his run right up the middle. Vlahovic takes up the left side. Chico takes up the right side. He's got the split. Finally, Yildiz does everything right. Slows down just enough, waits. That defense collapses in front of him, and then he drifts it off. And Vlahovic had all day to tee this one up and pick his spot. And he did. And he got it right. And we sealed it. And there you go. 2-0, fellas. Never in doubt. Fantastic performance, I thought. That's exactly how you want it to go. Juve finishes with 64% possession. 24 attempts to 7 for Udinese. Corners were 12-3 in favor of Juve. It was just... all the numbers were on our side. That's exactly how you wanted that game to go. We are going to get into performances, player performances, ratings, etc. But guys, anything to add about the performance? That's as clean as it gets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that. Go ahead,
go ahead.
Mas. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Udine never really, showed us anything that we had to worry about, right? They never really had a solid chance. We really just shut them down from beginning to end. Um, Again, once we went up 1-0, you're always a little bit concerned, especially at this point of the season and what's on the line. But overall, just a very effective, solid performance. The one thing that I've loved from Tudor's team, with the switch over from Mota is with Mota, you had these little spurts where you had these waves of pressure, right? But it was very, very few, far between, and it was like a few minutes here and there. Tudor, he's able to have his teams, with these maintained long pressures, right? I mean, like just long waves of pressure, right? And it's good to see, right? This one we maintained it almost the whole game. We were basically, pressuring Udine basically the whole game. So, no, it's overall it was a solid effort from beginning to end on both sides of the field. So no complaints.
Yeah, Seb, what do you want to add on the performance in general?
The performance was just like I said. I had no issues with anything that they did, minus just finishing and executing. But we also have to give a little bit of the thing of it is Udine just. I don't even know on that Vlahovic goal. Did they think Yildiz was going to shoot because they just all went in and they left the two wings?
Well, they have to because the threat is there. He can't shoot it. So,
like you said, Vlahovic had all year to shoot that thing.
That's exactly what you want to do in that situation is wait it out. Wait till they react and move, and then you make your move. And the pass was on the money, spot on. Sends it over to Vlahovic, and had all day.
And that's what I was going to say. What was great about that is that Yildiz made them commit.
Oh yeah, that's what awesome. You have to do. You have to read what's happening in front of you and then make the right decision. One of the biggest issues in the final third is that decision making, is that last little moment. And as good a game as I thought he had, Chico had a moment right after we went 2-0 up to add 3. And he had a very similar situation where he's running up that right flank and he's going. And I'm like, slow down, man, slow down. Just give yourself that little bit of time for the play to actually develop. And he trying to go full speed. And then that defender ends up making the jump on him. And I'm like, man, just give yourself that extra bit of time. Let your other players find the gaps, find the spots where they need to be, and then go from there. So, Yildiz played it to perfection. He had a great game. But I do believe Chico had a solid game too. We are going to get into the ratings. Then we're going to get into the player performances. But look, I know Udinese had a laundry list of guys missing, okay? But I remember that being the case for Empoli, and we still botched it and whatnot. So this team came from an absolute mess, mentally, physically, everything. Tudor's done a very, very good job, in my opinion, of just keeping it simple and allowing these guys to not overthink systems, not overthink positionally, whatever. That was one of the, as far as complete freedom goes for a lot in the attack and just the players in general, there was a lot of freedom there. It wasn't so rigid either. And they were making it work. So, there's something to be said with Tudor, and we will talk about him in a bit. We're going to pull up the rankings, okay? So this is what the ratings ended up with. We're just going to machine gun these, and then we'll talk about certain players. Di Gregorio finishes just shy of 7, 6.9. Not a lot of work for him, but when he did have to be called into action, he was sure-handed. So, 7's fine. Alberto, living up to the name finally, okay? 7.7. I mean, if he's living up to the name, probably be a 9, but no, good showing. We got Vega 7.6. Kelly 7.2. Kambiaso 7.6. Locatelli 8.3. McKennie a 7.3. Nico Gonzalez 7.6, Chico 7.9, Yildiz with a 9, and then Kolomuani, the odd man out, with a 6.4. So, real quick, I had like 4 guys that you could have in the mix for man of the match. Probably 5. Because Alberto had a great game. He had a really clean game on both ends. The support offensively, the work defensively. Locatelli was cooking in there. And the block with his face says everything about him and what he's willing to do for the team. Captain's performance there. Nico, I thought, was good yesterday. Chico, I thought, was really good yesterday. And Yildiz was cooking. And he ended up getting the 2 assists. We'll talk about these players, their performances. Do you guys agree with that list? Who did you have as man of the match? Officially, it was Kenan Yildiz getting the official man of the match. And we see him here donning a training top made completely from the interior of Jerry Seinfeld's suede jacket. What the hell are we doing here? I wouldn't buy my worst enemy this. This is crazy. Woo! It's like the old tube TVs when you got no signal. I don't know, like something's going on here. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't know who decided, you know what? This is good. Yeah, the Easter shirt. I don't know.
The Easter
Guys,
shirt, yeah, that's
you know what?
The Seinfeld thing is just hysterical.
As a button up shirt, if you were about to claim residency at Del Boca Vista, I could see it. You know, Jack Klompus is your neighbor. What are we doing here?
Oh,
my God. Looks like my nan's bed sheets, pajamas. Yeah. Morty Seinfeld's pajamas. This is terrible. I'm an easy sell, boys. But my God. Whew. That's something
and it's
else.
Big, too. Like, look how big it is on.
And that's not the only thing that's wrong in that picture either. We already discussed this, right? Can somebody find this guy a barber, please? Please.
Yeah.
As much as I want somebody to find us a free kick taker, somebody get some clippers for this guy.
Homer Simpson with the Del Boca, the Don Mattingly, the Simpsons show. Get rid of those sideburns. I don't know. And even Dushan had the cut on the back. It was so hot. I think they're getting J Medical now to run the barber shop as well.
That's what
Probably.
You know? Paulo said that on the watch line. He said, are these guys getting their hair cut at J Medical? Like, what's going on here? Anyways.
It would make perfect sense.
So, man, that top really gets me. Now, we got Yildiz as the official man of the match. We're going to start with Sev. Was he your man of the match in this one?
Yeah. I said it in the group chat yesterday. A close second would have been Loca and Alberto to me.
Okay.
But the only one I had a problem with the rating, I think that Kambiaso rating is a little high. He kind of ghosted for most of this game. I mean, he didn't stick out to me at all. What do you get, 7.6?
7.6, which I think is probably fair. He actually was heavily involved in the first half, more so than the second when it comes to offense. Half, He could have walked away with a couple assists too if guys finished. So that's a story for a lot of those players. Chico could have easily finished off with a couple helpers as well if opportunities were finished. I think the only one I'd say really ghosted was probably Kolomuani, and we'll talk about that after. But, okay, so Yildiz, your official man of the match, and then you had Loca and Alberto. So, Mas, did Yildiz get your official man of the match?
Yeah, he did for sure. I mean, a 9 might be a little high for him, but yeah, I mean, he had a fantastic game. Let's be honest, especially coming off of, the 2-game suspension with the red card, and it could have been a bit of a sour game for him. He came back and he showed what he's made of, right? So, but Loca was a close one for me too. I mean, Loca continues to quietly just do the things that we need. He doesn't show up doing anything flashy. He's not on the highlights. I've said this before, but man, the guy on the stat sheet, he does all the things that you need for a team to be successful, right? And then Chico had a solid game too, and it's frustrating because those are the kind of games with Chico that make you want to retain this guy for next season.
And we'll get into that. We'll talk
Right.
about these guys. So Loca's amazing. Wing of Winter coming in here. You guys know where I stand on Loca. I will not tolerate slander. All right? No Loca slander. If we look at these guys, Yildiz was my man of the match. 2 assists, 3 key passes, 4 successful dribbles, 6 duels won, 1 big chance created. A fantastic showing. After that, I would definitely go with Locatelli as my second. Locatelli, 5 key passes, 36 passes in the final third, 1 block shot with his face, okay? And he gets extra points for this. I know many of you have seen the Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore, okay? I was laughing on the watch-along when I saw this because it reminded me of when Sandler grabs his caddy and just shakes him in celebration because we score the goal. And he runs to this kid and he's just shaking he's rattling the kid's brain. And I just loved every second of it. I was like, Loca, man,
his little brother?
you are my guy. Jesus.
He wouldn't let go either. I'm like, how long is this guy going to hold him?
I'm like, who the hell is this kid? Does he know this? Like, what's going on? What's he's running over? It was awesome, though. I love seeing shit like that. It makes me so happy. Probably made that kid's day. And it's just fantastic. But Jesus, Loca, easy on the shakes there, man. We almost got a lawsuit there. Jesus, rattling this kid's brain, but it was hilarious. Totally reminded me of Happy Gilmore when Sandler just takes his caddy and just shaking the hell out of him in Selly. So absolutely love it. Love those scenes, man. Love those scenes. Loca, you're a beauty. Extra points for that. After Loca, I was pretty split on Chico or Nico, to be honest, in the ranking of after Yildiz. Like, I had Loca easily a second, and Nico got the goal, of course, and worked his ass off as he always does. But Chico, man, that was a good game. 3 key passes, like I said, could have easily been on a couple helpers. It just didn't pan out that way. 4 tackles. The defensive work rate on him tracking back yesterday and winning the ball back on many occasions and just allowing us to regroup and go at him. He was a big part of why Udinese struggled as well, is because him and even Yildiz, even Nico Gonzalez, they worked their asses off to win the ball back. And when Chico
plays, a lot of balls.
When Chico plays like that in both sides, it makes you want to retain him. Mas is right. And, there's this big period in the season where it wasn't in favor of Chico. But, like, I feel like you have phases of the season. Beginning of the season, you're like, man, there is something there with this kid. Then you have this big spell where you're, like, second guessing it. And you're just unsure, but the team as a whole isn't playing comfortably. You know what I mean? And it makes you wonder, are we, and I've said this on many times, are we able to fairly judge and evaluate these guys when things were such a mess under Motta? And now it's like, if he played like this, I'd have no problem. And I'm still at a place where I'm second guessing Chico on if we should retain or not, because 30 million isn't a lot for a highly talented player. I think he is a highly talented player. Yesterday, he did all the things he was shit on for. He did them right. Had his head up the majority of the time. Found guys. He had 3 key passes in the game. It's like he was doing the right thing. He took a couple shots, took a free kick, didn't get it to dip enough, but he had a shot, a one hopper to the back post that scraped the edge of the post. It's a decision that has to be made there, and I'm on the fence with it, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'm on the fence.
Well, and let's keep in mind, he's barely been playing.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to put in a performance like that with, minimal minutes the last games, he's barely been playing really when Tudor's come on. And if you look at the lineup, outside of maybe Yildiz, what other player do we have on the team that is able to take players on like that, with that kind of skill? Yeah. I mean, we're so starved for creation on this team For me, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer, but I would like to see him come back with
Yeah.
a proper start of the season, proper coach, hopefully less injuries, a full, starting 11, all that stuff. So,
Yeah, Swarit saying Conceição can be kept. Sean saying Chico's a young player that will improve. We should buy him outright. Yeah, I'd like to see him stay. I get the concerns with him. Tudor had this to say on Chico. He's improved his condition a lot and deserved this performance. So maybe Tudor pushed him. Maybe Tudor was challenging him and knows that. I don't think anyone looks at this guy and says, oh, he's not talented or he doesn't have tools that could be very, very critical for a club. Like, I don't think anybody's saying that about him, but it sounded to me like Tudor was challenging him on some level or some degree, right? That was a hell of a response from him if he was in getting the start. And I mean, there might be something there in the fact that Weah was supposed to start and then it became Chico. And it's almost like another thing. Like maybe Tudor was like, you know what? You deserve this, actually. Maybe he did something in training. Maybe he was trying to level up and not spend time posting something on social media with his name on the back of the kit, like, oh, soon they will know, etc. Like, it's like maybe he showed him something that's like, yeah, I need to start this guy. He rewarded him. That was a hell of a performance. Nico Gonzalez. Is Nico going to be considered a good signing for Giuntoli? Because he's been listed as one of the guys with Luis and Cope Miners, and I don't necessarily think he should be, and I think he's had more of an impact than both of those other guys.
I think under Tudor, he's turned his season around. Because for the beginning of it, he wasn't getting any playing time. Even under, with Mota, he wasn't. But the 30 million's a little high for me, but I'll take it. Because I think Mas said it, like, at wingers, there's not going to be, like, for that money, there's not many that are going to stay healthy, hopefully, and all that. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Mas, is he considered a good signing for Giuntoli?
I think the jury's out still. I think the one thing we discussed is his effort's always been there. Guy gives 150% every game.
Yeah.
It's, the finishing that leaves a little to be desired. I don't think it's with the majority of this team. I want to see another season with a proper coach at the beginning of the year to see what these guys can really do. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with the majority of the players. He was coming off a strong season when we signed him.
Yeah.
I think there's a player in there. I think there's more offensive impact in there from him that we can get out of him. And if he can just maintain that effort level, I think ultimately he's going to be a good signing. Right now, I'm kind of on the fence.
He's a workhorse too, though.
100%.
He's got 90 minutes in his legs every game, like every game. Whether he's good or not that's whatever. But he's got.
And he stays healthy. He stays healthy too. With that kind of work rate, to stay healthy on this team, it's tough, right?
Yeah, he creates issues for the other team, like when because he's always like, even if it's a little clumsy, which it is, and I give him shit for it all the time, he's still creating issues, and he's still like a guy they have to like pay attention to and whatnot. I mean, yeah, it's a tough one because we had such a big spell where he wasn't around, and it was a mixed bag before we lost him for like a good period of time, and then coming back, yeah, it was like. Didn't he was one of the guys that re-aggravated an injury, I believe, too. So it was like he got back and then it was like, no, he's going to need more time, etc. So I don't know. I feel like with Nico, yeah, I'd say on the fence is probably a fair way to go, but I'm leaning towards him being a good signing. And I think that this season, you guys know I haven't backed away or shied away from my words. I think Mota made a disaster of this season, and I think it's hard to go all in on the guys completely. Now, I know that there's a big argument out there that a lot of people continue to fight. I don't understand why people want to defend Mota so like strongly, and they're saying that it's these players, it's his team, etc. I fail to believe that the teams that are doing better are miles apart in terms of roster, especially when you look at a team like Napoli. There is no way that roster on paper is that much clearer than Juve. There is no way in hell.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Malta made an absolute shit show out of this year. Now, to Mas's point, I think we'll be singing a different tune next season. Cope Miners, is he going to be able to regroup? Is he going to be able to pick it up? Well, his season is over because of the inflammation with his Achilles. He's not going to get back in for the Venezia game. It's not expected anyways. So they're going to be waiting for him to get in for Club World Cup at some point. Okay? So we'll see what happens there. Now, we keep it rolling here. We had Loca. We discussed Alberto. Matt, good signing for Giuntoli. 12.5, 2.5 in bonuses, 1.3 in some ancillary costs. Good signing for Giuntoli?
I think it's a sneaky signing, right? Because we didn't really know much about him, and guys, I was going to say this when we did the ratings. That guy is fast. He's so fast. And it's
I told you guys I could fucking ball. You didn't believe it. I told you. Told you I could ball.
You don't realize it. He's sneaky fast. I don't know if he's way fast, but he might be. He might be way fast.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that signing. He just needed the playing
time. Yesterday, what surprised me was I had no doubts about his willingness to get forward, to bomb up the flank, to try and help offensively, but defensively, he was clean as clean could be, man. He had a huge sliding intervention deep in our area there where he blocked the cross coming in. He had a couple sketchy situations where I was like, oh no, they're coming back at us real quick. And he made the cleanest tackles and then just turned it around and went right back at Udinese. This could be a really, really decent signing. And we're hearing a lot about him going on loan. But, man, we're shopping for fullbacks and whatnot. Should we not just keep this guy around and utilize him? Like, he's got nothing but praise coming out of training since he showed up at Continassa. Is this a guy like... I mean... He kind of falls for Adzic with me. Like, we should have seen a bit more, a bit sooner, I think, when it comes to Alberto. But I'm excited about him, and I'm totally open to him sticking around and being a support piece at the fullback role. Wing back even, depending if we want to play 3-5-2 or even if you want to play back four, I think he could fill the role on either of those. So, Mas, should we be keeping him around next season, you think?
It really depends.
Do you decide that after Club World Cup?
It depends what we do at that position, what we're planning to do in the off season. But for the money we spent on him, the fact that he's barely played, coming from a different league, coming to one of the most defensive leagues in the world, as a depth piece, I have no issue keeping him around, and we're going to need it. I mean, if we make Champions League, on all fronts, we're going to need a lot of depth.
Eventually,
just based on our injury history.
Cabal's going to come back. Kambiaso, let's wait and see what happens there. But I mean, Kambiaso could play left or right. I've always preferred him on the right. You've got Alberto that could be your right coverage. I still think we need a left back. I would get an actual left back, but now if you keep him around, you have the freedom of taking your pick if you keep Kambiaso around. You could get a 1A at left back or a 1A at right back, and you have that freedom because Kambiaso could play on either one of those flanks. So I'm starting to lean to the position of keeping Kambiaso. And I think we probably should. If the interest has gone down, if the price tag has gone down, we don't need to be in any kind of a rush or make any of those decisions. I think now that the books are right, which is something I've said we had to do, now you can make decisions that are focused on the squad, focused on team building, and you're not handcuffed. We don't have to sell anybody. And Elkan, okay, great. He's going to pull $100 million if by some chance, hopefully it doesn't happen, knock on wood, we don't qualify. He's willing to put the bond in. That bond would protect that as well for the lost revenue. But I'm leaning towards Kambiaso staying. I think Alberto, we should definitely look at keeping him around. I don't know. It's in the name, boys.
Well, you just touched on it. You just touched on it. I think, look, if we could win next week, get the Champions League, and then let's not forget, let's try to get far in the Club World Cup, get some money from there as well. And then do we really need to sell anybody? I mean, you're going to sell Dusan, right? I guess that's pretty much cemented.
Dusan's going to go. I think there's some other... You still got to drum up a little bit of money. They still want to make some boosts, and I agree with it. I think you have to always work on improving the squad. I just don't think we need to go as crazy on the spot. Like when you're hearing Osman 85, Tonali 80, it's like, I don't think we need to go that crazy. And if you're starting to sell to make those moves, I'd start to choose a little differently based on what I'm seeing around the team. Because if you're going to open up one hole just to fill another, you're just changing where the attention is probably going to focus on throughout the next season. So a more balanced approach in the Mercado this summer is what I'd like to see. I don't want to see us overextend for any player. Let's wait to see what the opportunities are. Maybe there's some players out there that we're not even naming or haven't been linked with us that could present some good opportunities. And I'm going to say it again. I need to hear some links with some experienced guys. I need this team to get a couple of winners coming in. Muller keeps coming to mind when you're looking at attack, trying to help out there. He's leaving.
Plus leadership.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Now, we're going to keep things rolling. Alberto, a great performance there. And now, Kenan Yildiz, talked a lot about him. Big redemption game there. Champions League qualification. You guys, we know where we stand on the table. We're at, 67 points. 1 point over AS Roma. 2-point lead over Lazio. If by some chance, in the final match week, we actually hold tiebreaker on both those teams. So if that were to come down to it, if it were to play out in that situation, we would be the ones getting the 4th spot. But we're not going to worry about that. We got to give Venezia one of those and take care of business. Bottom line, okay? Now, Tudor. We talked about making his switch up there and everything. Conte, nobody knows what's going to happen. Everybody's in the air about it. It's time to make some bets, some wagers. We love putting wagers out there, all right? Is he going to leave Napoli? You have to make a bet right now. Put your money where your mouth is. Mas, is he leaving Napoli? Yes or no?
You never know with this guy. That's the problem.
Wild card.
My first intuition would be, listen, if the guy wins there, if he wins the Scudetto, why would he leave? I mean...
You know what's awesome? He's not even going to be there for the final game on Friday. He got a red card yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
So they're playing for the Scudetto, and he won't even be on the bench.
I don't know, man. I could easily see him staying. I could easily see him leaving. If I got to put some money down, I would say he's going to stick around with Napoli.
All right. Sev, you got to put a wager on it. Is he staying? Is he leaving?
I think 100% he's coming here. 100%. This is a
100.
Guys, remember, this is a guy that when outside the press conference of Motta's last year, This guy was in the parking lot waiting to come to us.
Yeah.
We've denied this guy twice already. Trust me, I think he's coming. Big time. Big time.
Man, he got very... Yeah, I don't know. That guy is a wild card.
Exactly, he is a wild card.
If I have to bet, he's leaving. He's leaving Napoli. I feel like when you watch this from the outside, you could see this. It's like he wanted us. He opened himself up to us. We said we went a different route again, and then it's like, okay, he knew he was going to have offers. He knew he was going to have options. I felt like, man, Napoli, he's taking over a 10th place side that shouldn't have been 10th place, but they made a mess of that title reign season. And he's thinking, man, I could come in here and it could go any way and it'll probably still work out to my benefit. And he's like, man, who knows? He's like, the roster should be higher up based on what he has. And he makes a good impact. He has them battling for the Scudetto. He's done exactly what he's needed. That's another feather in the cap for him, whether they win it or not. You know, I'm thinking he's leaving. That's just me. I think he's leaving.
Well, this is the way it's going to go. At the end of the season, if they do win the title, Conte's going to go to ADL and say, listen, look at what I did with this squad. Probably wasn't good enough to win the title, but I won it anyways. Because he's a fierce competitor. We know that.
Yeah.
Here's what I need to be competitive, to continue to win in Italy and possibly challenge in Champions League. Because right now, the team that they have wouldn't go very far in Champions League, let's be honest. If ADL comes back and says, yeah, you can get whatever you want, you know, the chances are obviously there that he's going to stick around. If it goes the other way, then obviously there's more reason for him to leave.
I don't think it's going to... I have a feeling it's still not going to matter. I don't think so. I'm of the belief he's wanted this so bad that he wants the return and now it's there for him. If it's true, because we don't know 100%, we're going on the rumors. If it's true that Juve has essentially created a situation where it's like, hey, we have 3-year contract, it's here, Juve is yours if you want it, I believe he leaves. No matter what ADL does or what he's going to do in the summer, I believe he wants it so bad that he'll take it and he'll come back. I am going to go on the words of his ex-teammates and compatriots like Delivio, Lippi, Torricelli that all say he would jump at the opportunity. And I believe we've heard it for a while. He's been wanting it. Now it's here in front of him. I think he's going to take it. That's just me.
I agree.
The interesting discussion we had yesterday on the pregame show was, let's say he does not. We could not decide wholeheartedly who we would want as the next Juve coach. It becomes this crazy like carousel in your mind of like, oh my God, who do you go with? Did Tudor gain anything in a match despite it being Udinese mid-table, nothing to play for in yesterday's game, laundry list of errors? Did he gain anything by switching things up to a 4-4-2, showing a little bit more of tactical versatility? Did he show more in terms of cleaning up what a shit show it was before he got there? He had pretty strong words in the presser ahead of this game. They're kind of sticking with me because he said, I'm inferior to nobody. I loved that, man. Dude, I love that. Confidence. Because I always said teams are going to end up being a reflection of your coach. And a little bit more time, who knows? Maybe they start getting that same type of mentality. He said it, when this team is fit, it will compete with anyone. He's also simplified things. We have an actual style of play now, in case you guys missed it. Like, we're direct. We're controlling play against the teams we need to control. We're defensively structured, organized. He's done a good job given the circumstances that he stepped into. Is he the best option if Conte stays? In your personal opinion? Or is one of the rumored guys where you would go?
I think as it stands now, as we sit here, he is the best option outside of Conte for what's available out there. I know there's the Mancini rumors. There's the rumors.
So we got, Mancini, Pioli, Italiano. Some are throwing out after his finally getting a trophy, his first out of 4 finals. Gasperini. So you Tudor over all of those, in your opinion, Mas?
Yeah, Italiano would be a move like we made for Motta, and I don't want to see that. Sort of the flashy coach that's on a good run. Gasperini, I've been banging a drum for a long time. I don't think he's cut out to do it anywhere outside of Atalanta, just based on what he's been given there and the freedom he's been given, and he's never proven it outside of it. I don't know. The Tudor's come in and done nothing but, like you said, simplify things, improve the way we play, and most importantly, create harmony in the locker room. And you can see it in the players. So as we stand now, I think Tudor I'd be okay with Tudor going into next season.
All right. Now, we actually have Italiano here with us because Seb looks identical to this guy. So, is that your pick? Is that your pick? Like, who's your top if Conte stays at Napoli?
You're going to be shocked to hear this. I wanted Italiano, obviously, the most last year. And you said it yesterday, I think, in the pregame. With Italiano now, I'm a not yet, if that makes any sense. Like, let him go make his bones somewhere else on a big team. Like, let him go to Milan, Inter, one of those teams. And then, like, maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, then we'll look at it. But outside of him, not on Mancini, Pioli, no. I'd have to go with Tudor if we don't get Conte. He said it. Mas said it perfectly. He simplifies stuff. He gets the best out of what he can at the moment. And I think with a full season, he's a nice fallback option after Conte to me. And he could do it, right? Because he's done it now for 5 games, 6 games. The pressure didn't get to him. And what, like you said, Al, the fact that he says, I'm not inferior to him. I don't, you want that confidence. You want that.
Yeah. I mean,
little toughness to him.
And it's difficult because you think about this, like, is the fact that he doesn't have a guarantee making it a little bit easier for him too? Because he knows, like, is he approaching this thing, like, is that why he's got all this confidence in the media, etc., whatever? I don't believe that. I just think that's in his mentality. But it's something that you start to wonder, like, yeah, I mean, he's also come in with no guarantees. He knows that he is, in fact, living by the day. I just feel like the same thing with Vega versus Henchko. There's some kind of added value to the guys that are doing it here now, as opposed to going in from the outside. Tudor coming into like a nasty situation, a team that seemingly was broken, and getting them across the finish line. Again, 1 more to go. I don't know. It would be interesting, depending on Club World Cup too, and there's a lot of variables here. Yeah, Conte. Like, if Conte's not around, I think Tudor might be the guy. He might be the guy that I'm okay with. And here's another reason why. The team still needs work on the roster. So if you want to go big, if you want to go elite tier coach and whatnot, but the other guys, I don't really put Mancini. We talked about this yesterday. Like, Mancini doesn't go elite for me. I don't know why. Like, whatever, he's got trophies, etc. He doesn't go elite for me. Gasperini doesn't go elite for me. Because Gasperini's missing big ticket clubs from his CV. I put the rest in the same category with Tudor. And he's doing it now for us. And you still have to boost the roster. boost the roster with this guy that can seemingly work with whatever he's given anyways. He does seem like one of those guys. I don't think Tudor's going to make demands on a roster. I don't actually think he's going to be that guy. So build, keep working on the roster, give him a year if that's what it takes, and then see your options again from that. I would have loved to see Tudor this, at least even half of this season, as opposed to Mota. Yeah, it would have been interesting, and I think we would add different feelings. But that's going to be one storyline we keep going. It's elite for me. Otherwise, Tudor might be the man. I want to remind everybody, we gave away 2 kits and displays yesterday. Iorio winning one, George winning the other. But George has put the home kit back into play, so we got a kit giveaway coming up today, right now, before Storm the Barn. It's a very easy, and we did do a fact check on it. Okay, it was fact checked. We had an issue yesterday. I got a red card, straight red. Guys couldn't even give me a yellow. Okay, just hard on Alberto. Straight red they were flashing. So this year's home kit is back into play. You all have a chance to win it. As a thank you for all the support the AJC has gotten this year. Again, get those likes up right now. Okay? And here we go. Who was the manager of Juventus before Marcello Lippi's second stint? First one to hit us is very easy. First one to hit us with that gets it. Auto red for Berto. God damn.
Yeah, they have no sympathy for you, man.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, very easy one. Everybody coming in here. Antonio, longtime supporter of the AJC. Great to see you getting it. Congratulations. Antonio with the win. Yes, it was Ancelotti. So, Antonio and even Iorio, reach out, okay? And we're going to set up getting your display and your kits sent out to you, all right? And we will have another one. Probably before year end going into the last match, okay? We've got a ton of support this year. We keep making more and more waves each season, and it's because of all of your guys' support. So fantastic stuff. Congratulations, Antonio. All right? Get those likes up, everybody. We're going to go into Storm the Barn real quick, fellas. Hot topic with Ancelotti taking over Brazil national team. You know, men of Italian heritage, etc. We know the feelings with the Brazilian national side. How do you feel about Don Carlo heading to Brazil's national side?
Yeah, I don't get that. How is that allowed?
Well, England's got Tuchel.
They've been more rules than the.
It's not a rule. I mean, you could do that.
There's no rule against it.
There's no rule against it.
I mean, I guess. But yeah, that one kind of, it's a little punch in the gut, no?
So
as a Duty fan, as Italians.
We know that when it comes to Brazil, the rivalry is massive. I mean, we just there was always this thing, and they've met up in big games. God damn it, I remember 94, and it kills me to 94. This day. But Carlo doing it also, like, the FIGC, man. We always talk about, like, who's gonna, like, come in with these clowns. And, you know, a part of me is like, why the hell would he mix himself up with the FIGC if he doesn't have to? Because they're just a joke. They're an absolute joke, right? So that's the part of me that gets it. But I do kind of feel the sting because it's like, it's Brazil, man. It's Brazil. It's weird.
But you also look at all the Brazilian players he's coached over his career. I mean, it kind of makes sense. The only thing that surprises me, he's leaving a team like Real to go to Brazil.
See, he's got a place in Canada, and he resides here because he's married to a Canadian woman. It's like, dude, come take over Canada. Let's go. Giddy up. Have no problems, but Brazil stings. There's a certain feeling there around that one. But
well, you mentioned the
think he
FIGC. Like Ancelotti would actually be a perfect guy to go in there and make all that stuff right.
I don't think you
So maybe
can.
that's what he's-
Gravina just
maybe that's
needs
what
to
he's
go,
waiting
man.
Yeah, yeah.
He probably
Anyways.
just wanted like a less grinding job. You know, this is more of he's scouting for most of the year and then just does his 4 or 5 different,
We'll see.
international breaks, and that's it.
We'll see. Guys, get those likes up. Storm the Barn is upon us. Yesterday, I posed this. Oh, my God. Okay. You know what? You're right. I got to actually answer it. I couldn't answer it yesterday because I was torn between a couple. And I said, let's revisit this. Neville said, this is the scenario. You get to pick one. A, Juve wins the Champions League. B, you get back the 2 Scudetti from 2006 there. C, Inter is relegated to Serie B.
Oof,
Or
that's tough.
you win 10 Scudetti in a row. So I was obviously torn because I mean I love the Scudetti and they're so I'd love 10 in a row, but I'm have no doubt we'll get back to winning Scudetti and that'll be okay. Winning a Champions League, I would love to see, and my God, Inter relegated is very, very high for me. Like, I just despise those guys. I despise them.
Well,
I would
I
love
would
to
take
see-
B out right away. I would take B out right away because I still look at this as with 38. It's 38. I don't give a shit what everybody else says. We got 38.
So B is out, getting those back.
I would
Yeah,
next
I mean,
say
we
B.
have the actual ones there. They have the replicas in their trophy room. So, yeah, screw them. Juve wins Champions League, Inter relegate. I mean, 10 Scudetti in a row would be amazing to just dunk on all these clowns and give them all the day for 10 in a row.
You know
I
what,
would
though?
love that too.
As much as that would be nice, it would be horrible for the league. I mean, we'd
I
be
don't
going
care.
backwards.
I don't think it would be horrible for the league. I mean, we did 9 in a row. It wasn't horrible for the league. We actually carried the league because anytime you get a 10 straight winner, that's because the other clubs aren't pulling their weight, and they weren't. You had top through our 10
Fair.
through our 9 year, the biggest contender for the majority of that was Napoli on some of the lowest resources. So that just tells me that the bigger clubs in there weren't doing their job. So 10 Scudetti though, Champions League. I want to see a Champions League one more time before I go. I would love that. 10 Scudetti in a row is just it's awesome. I've seen 9 though, and that's why it's
what I was
like
gonna say.
I'm kind of
Kinda
like,
sorry.
you know what? Mixing them up, winning 3 in a row, winning 4 in a row, and getting to see Inter relegated. Oh my God.
It's got to be
I'm
C.
torn between A and C.
Got to be C.
To be honest with you.
Listen, I've seen a Champions League in '96. I've seen the 9 in a row. How sweet would that be for them to just wallow
Man,
where they deserve to be?
and I would only hope that they never come back. And my God, I would love that. I would love it. It would just be like, the second I read that yesterday, it was like, inject that into my veins because, man, Juve's going to win. Juve's going to get back to winning. It is what it is. C might take the cake, but I still would like to see one more Champions League. Okay, final answers. Sev, you got to pick one. What is it?
I say this all the time. Are you more of a Juve fan or an Inter hater? And that's the problem where I can't decide. But I'm gonna have to go with A.
I think if you are the strongest of a Juve fan, naturally the hatred for Inter is there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with C. Fuck them.
Oh man, yeah,
Guys,
hey,
we have to
I
give
was-
up trophies for so long for anyone to come close
Yeah,
to this. Like, and I say that having seen Juve hoist a Champions League and whatever, but again, like, God damn it, get these guys out of there.
it's a great question. Really good question.
Mas, final answer.
Can we do C, but with a caveat that on the last day of the Serie B season, they have an opportunity to move up, and they lose. to just turn the screws a little bit.
I would say with the caveat
I would
that they go straight down the fucking Serie A, man.
Yeah,
Stick them in
let's do
Chi.
it.
Stick them in
I'm
Chi.
I'm C 100%.
Who wins Serie A? Inter or Napoli? Napoli.
Yep.
Again, screw them. I want them to walk away with sweet fuck all this year. Napoli. Sev, who's winning it?
Who do I want to, or who do I think is?
Who do you think? Well, I hope you don't want Inter to win it.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling they're gonna pull it out.
Napoli?
Unfortunately. No.
Inter?
The Merda.
Oh my god.
Napoli's at home next week, though, no?
Are you watching that game with Marco? Doesn't he live close to you? Or you got?
We're gonna hang out in the backyard.
Inter watch along there with a Juve fan, for fuck's sakes. If Conte is not available, stays at Napoli, Tudor or Mancini, no other options for the panel. Tudor.
Tudor, easy.
Tudor.
Yep.
Machine gunning these bad boys. A draw won't be enough for Venezia to beat the drop, and they will certainly go for the kill against Juve. Should that play into our hands? Early thoughts going into the game. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be playing for their life. It's not going to be a similar situation to Udinese that had absolutely nothing to play for. Venezia will, and they played us tough in the first game too. It's going to be a difficult game. Playing to our hands that they have something to play for, I don't think it's going to change their approach, to be honest.
Well, they're going to sit back, right?
I think they're gonna look to strike pretty methodically, try to close things off. I do think though that Juve, again, we're gonna be getting Kefren Turam back into the mix. Let's look at the lineup, right, that you can have in there. Will Gatti get in from the start, etc. But Turam coming in will be a big ploy. Now all of a sudden you got Loca and Turam in there. No offense to Weston McKennie, who I think did a good job yesterday. I'd let Chico continue. I'd let Yildiz continue. I'd let Gonzalez continue. Kolo Muani or Dushan is like 50-50 for me, but I give it to Kolo. But I'm going to come up with Kolo in my next Storm the Barn. I don't know if it's necessarily going to play into our hands because there's going to be pressure. The pressure's going to be there. It's a big one. You got to win it to get in. I would continue though with the 4-4-2. Would you guys continue with the 4-4-2 in that game?
Well, based on what we saw yesterday, yeah. Why change it?
Yeah. Good fluidity, good tempo. The guys made it work. I'd keep it going.
Yep.
Well, I have a question. If we do the 4-4-2 again and you're getting Duran back, he's gonna play McKennie somewhere. And he's gonna probably wind up putting McKennie as one of those top positions behind the striker. Are you guys okay with that? Because that means Chico doesn't start.
No, I don't think he's gonna do that.
Well, Kambiaso is gonna play the back, and then your right is gonna probably be Costa again. No.
Yeah, I think McKennie doesn't start. I don't think he has to.
Really?
No, is he even going to be healthy though?
Don't see him doing
he took a knock yesterday too.
Yeah, exactly.
He was limping pretty bad,
Yeah,
like, and also he still makes it through late in these games, but he looks gassed. Yeah. I'd go 4-4-2. Turam, Locatelli, Nico, Chico, Yildiz, Kolo, and at the back, if Gatti can start, I'd probably start him. But fuck, you guys, Kelly's doing a job. I mean.
Yeah.
It ain't pretty sometimes, but he's doing a job. It's Venezia. Keep it going. 4-4-2. 4-4-2 and let it fly. That's what I say. Now, out of this one, my question was Kolo Muani. I've made my decision. I don't want Juve to go after him and keep him in. The physicality he backs away from too much and he ends up disappearing too often. He had a great chance in the first half yesterday's game too, just couldn't lift it high enough. But I'm a no on Kolo Muani, and I'm decided. Where do you guys stand? We'll start with Seb. Seb, do you want to see Kolo Muani retained?
It's tough because I like him as a rotational forward, but I guess a lot of it depends. But it's got to be a loan. It's got to be another loan. I'm not buying him. No way in hell am I paying that money for him. But I don't know. It all depends on who's going to be your main striker.
Yeah, we got no for. I don't think 70. I think we're still talking 50, which is a lot. Mas, do you want to see Kolo retained? There's a lot of no's in the chat here.
I mean, like Seb said, if we did, it would need to be a loan. For me, he's just not clinical enough. I mean, you mentioned the physicality too, but he just doesn't score enough for that position. That's the bottom line for me.
Yeah.
When he has opportunities, he doesn't score. So, and that's a knock that's been there, the last few years for him. I think he's a little light mentally. He would be a good depth piece, but I'm not paying $50 million for the guy. No way. Not at this point.
Even with a loan and 40, loan and no, I'm a no.
I'll add something to Kolo, by the way, really quick. I like him more. He's not physical enough to be a striker like that. I like him more either as a false nine or as a winger, to be honest. He can't handle with guys on him. That's actually one thing Dusan does well.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm still a no on Kolo.
Yeah.
I'm just a no on Kolo. Goes into our next one here from Forza Juve. Gyökeres and David together would probably cost about the same as Osimhen. I don't want another Colt Miners saga with Osimhen, and he has character issues. I definitely go for those two over Osimhen. Yeah, I mean, what was the rumor coming out on Gyökeres price tag? Like 65 million or something? Man.
That feels low. I don't know.
I think it's going to be higher than 65. 65 is pretty big.
I can see it Premier League coming in for way higher than that. If it gets into a bidding war, wouldn't surprise me. That seems low to me.
Yeah. I don't want, I've been pretty upfront about it. I don't want Osimhen. Not big on it. David, I think, is a solid play for Juve, and I'd like to see an experienced older vet kind of come in as well into the mix in the attack as a striker. One that isn't Milik. I sent that video in our army chat, Milik's highlights for this season. He was standing outside a fucking gelato window ready to get an ice cream. He's just standing there looking lost, and nobody even knows who this guy is because nobody's even seen him. I think we should make a play for David, and I would look at it an experienced striker behind him, and maybe if we have something to hide or whatever, the theory on Morata comes into play as his name gets brought up again. Morata for the fifth time. No, I would probably go that route. Gyökeres, yeah, you might be right though. And Alex P says Gyökeres is Premier League bound, so that is most likely going to be the play. Money talks. Perin leaving. Who would you want to be his replacement as a backup keeper? Honestly, when it comes to the backups, I'm fine with jumping on somebody that's kind of young. I think there's what would be all right if he'd be willing to do it, but he won't. But I'd even take Merritt. He's on a free, and have him as a backup, whatever, 1-2 punch. But to be honest, I don't really care when you're talking backups. Let's see what the options are. We have a guy that's crushing out on loan, and he's old though. He's 29 or 30, but he's just crushing it on loan. Can't remember the guy's name to save my life, but when I went over all the loan lists of the players we have, he's actually doing all right. But I don't know. Let's see what the options are. But I don't really think too much on the backup keeper. What do you guys think?
It's tough because anyone you want that has a little bit of, experience and stuff, they're not going to want to come as a backup goalie. So
I mean, we're pretty lucky to have Szczesny
Right.
and Perin behind him, and then
Yeah.
even Di Gregorio Perin. I mean, that's not a luxury most teams have. This
No.
idea that we've now ingrained that you gotta have two guys that are like basically number one. That's not always the case, right? So let's see who could kind of be available. Maybe there's some cheap pickups that could be made in the league that you could bring in. But I mean, if we're being honest, we got bigger fish to fry. De Gea, what a comeback season for him. Manchester United should sign him. Wouldn't that be something? After spending so big on Onana, just pushing De Gea out, and he was actually De Gea was having howlers there too, but man, funny. Romano said that Gyökeres could be available for a fee around 60 to 70 million, so I think we should at least try. I mean, if you were gonna go 85 on Osimhen, I would much rather go 60 to 70 on Gyökeres personally, because I don't know, man. I got bad vibes around Osimhen. Gyökeres, I don't know. Could you include a player in there and bring down like a 60 price tag down? We'll see. But it seems like Premier League's going to be the play there. Have you heard that Kingsley has left Bayern to join the army? He is now a commander. Oh my fucking God, dude. Okay, Adam, yellow on this one. Not a red because it's okay. Very creative. Okay, not a red, but Jesus Christ. Oh, Adam.
It seems like he's been downhill since the Manuel one, the Manuel Locatelli. It's been like a decline, Adam.
Did you see the one yesterday on the live show? What did he goes,
yes, what was it?
He goes, what is Kulishevsky's favorite Italian phrase? Vafankulu. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy. Yellow card, no reds on those.
Omer really liked it.
Omer loves them all. He loves all of them. He is like, Adam is quickly becoming his favorite. He's just like, I love those. He's like, I love those. Rank these coaches for Juve's next season. Zidane, Klopp, Conte, Tudor. All right.
Well, two of them aren't even realistic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but just for shits and gigs.
I'd put Klopp one over all of them. That's me.
Klopp overall.
Yeah. So Klopp,
Zidane guy.
Klopp,
for some reason.
Conte,
I just don't think
Zidane,
it would
Tudor.
work.
I'd probably go Klopp.
I'd have to go Conte too.
I'd put Conte over Zidane.
Yeah. I just don't think Zidane would fit here for some reason. I don't know why.
Klopp. I have so many doubts about Zizou on a. If we're talking about where this team is at right now, Klopp and Conte are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Then Zidane, then Tudor. But Zidane, I mean, I'm going to be quite honest. I have no idea about this guy building. He might be 4 from what we've seen in Tudor coming in such a mess of a situation. But I'm going to go final answer, Klopp, Conte, Zizou, Tudor is how I would do it. But that's just me.
And there's a part of me that doesn't want Zidane to come because I'm such a Zizou guy. If he were to come here and fail, it would just gut me. Right? I don't know.
Well, I've said that. They touched on the pregame yesterday too. I feel like that with Del Piero. I kind of don't want him.
We were talking about that and him potentially coming into the offside. And it's like, man, I put my theory out there, which is I don't actually believe he wants it, despite, hinting at it here and there. And I don't think he actually wants to be in there. Calvin was asking about what was the Locatelli one from Adam. I still remember it. It was he loaned his car to Locatelli, but he couldn't drive it because it wasn't a manual. Or because it was a manual. Like, fucking guy, man.
That's my favorite one so far.
That actually is probably his best one.
I think I was on that show, and I had to, I kept stopping. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Oh, man. Did you see the I actually didn't. So the tifo for Genoa that they did for Sampdoria getting relegated, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't
You guys should send it to us on like DM me on Twitter or like Instagram on our account. I haven't seen it. I'd like to check it out though. Sampdoria, eh? Feels kind of strange, but I don't care. We need that type of a striker. Kolo would be wonderful. His dynamic play is nice. Vlahovic is too stiff. Well, to each their own. Bob here believes that we need Kolo. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Who gets the post-match day? To be honest,
They were so invisible. Nobody
on Udinese really did anything to really deserve a day. I might have to give it to a respectful day to Tudor. The fact that McKennie had to basically die to get taken off the pitch.
Thank you for mentioning that. I visibly got upset at my TV. I'm like, what does this guy got to do? Like literally die to come off the field?
Yeah, like I'm like, dude, it's okay to sub McKennie off. Like we're not going to fall apart here. Like it was wild to see. That's one thing with Tudor. Substitution's a little bit late. So a respectful, friendly, internally aimed day to Tudor, because your players shouldn't have to die to get a substitution. Like, man, Max just thinking, I'm never going to get to have another piece of ranch pizza, for fuck's sakes. I'm going to die out here. The guy's life was flashing before his eyes. He was looking at all the sisters in the stands.
An honorable mention goes to Yıldız's barber. Come on, let's be honest.
Dude, can you just take it up on the sides a bit? Can you just take it up a bit? And the guy's like going higher and higher. Yeah, just a bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Dude.
Or leave a little sideburn. Something.
You're about to have a fucking island on top, man. You're about to have an island here. It goes any higher. Take it easy.
Berto,
my goodness.
The barn too for the end when you.
But Yıldız had himself a game, and you know what? We actually had a funny little discussion there. I was playing. Justin and I, we were playing FC 25 last night, and we were talking about Yıldız because there was fans that were just losing it over that red card in that situation, and it's just like, get rid of them, whatever. And I'm like, they can't be serious. They have to be just trolling, whatever. But there were some that were just like, no, he ain't got it up here. The first big offer you take, whatever. And I'm just like, guys, I laughed about it because I'm like, dude, and it's funny because Mas just mentioned him as well and how high regards he puts him up there. But like, you're coming from guys that have seen Zidane headbutt somebody in a World Cup final and get himself taken out. We can't cut a little bit of slack to a 19, 20-year-old for that moment, getting that red, which in the grand scheme of things, you can't do. It was stupid, but it wasn't like the worst thing you've ever seen, in getting sent off. Even Kalulu's was even lighter than that. But I mean, to take it to that level was like, what are we talking about? Yıldız, for me, I love watching the kid play. He excites me. I think he's talented. There were guys trying to talk about comparison to Lamine Yamal. I don't think there is any comparison. Yamal is just a freak show. But Yıldız needs to polish up more, and he still has a long way to go, and there is a noticeable gap there. But Yıldız is fantastic, a fantastic player. I love watching him play, and I'm all for keeping this kid around. Like, no sale. Again, a crazy, crazy offer you consider, but I'd much rather like to have him as one of the pillars moving forward and keep him around for a long time. Guys, your thoughts on Yıldız?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even need to talk about his talent and what he can bring to this team. We already had the conversation about Chico and not having enough talent and players like that on this squad. I think it pissed me off when that red card happened and the reaction afterwards, but reflecting on it, I think it just speaks to the maturity level of like newer age Juve fans. I always preach with Juve, you can never get too high, you can never get too low, because there's always something going on. There's always drama.
Yeah.
I mean, after losses, saying that's it, I'm out, and I can't be a fan anymore. I've seen stuff like that. I mean, if that's the kind of fan that you are, then we don't need you. I mean, the motto of the team is literally "fino alla fine," right? And these guys are like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. It's just, I don't know. It shows whether you're a true fan or not, right?
I think a lot of it is trolls. I think a lot of it is just trolling. I don't think I question some of it too, because I mean, Jesus Christ, look no further, everybody. You're staring at a Maple Leafs fan, okay? Like, you want to talk about pain? Yeah. And I'm not going anywhere. Like, I can't wrap my head around anything this team, like, we brought that question up once. What would it take for you to actually say, I'm out? Like, what would it take? It would have to take them violating, like, human rights or something for me to even, like, fathom leaving the club you support. I mean, Jesus, it is what it is. And the fact that I'm a Maple Leafs fan makes me laugh when people call me a glory hunter, and that's why I'm a Juve fan. Jesus Christ, I'm a glory hunter. You think I'm sticking around with the Maple Leafs? Jesus, the last time they won it was 67. I wasn't even friggin' born. Like, God, Skango was in his prime. But, God, what's... yeah, I can't rock around there, but it is an emotional roller coaster, like Gio says. And you put it perfectly. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You just got to kind of roll with it, and things always even out. Trapattoni had the best saying around Juve. He goes, man, he's like, you could chop the head off. He's like, it'll never die. It'll never die. It's like a three-headed snake. You chop one head off. He goes, it ain't going anywhere. It ain't going anywhere. Seb, your thoughts with Yildiz and some of the overreactions around the red, and just how you feel about him as a player, and did he maybe show you a little something more mentally with that reaction, redeeming himself yesterday, and a great performance coming off the suspension?
Yeah, no, I think that's a one-time deal. He'll never do something like that again. I mean, I would be shocked if he did. He's one of those guys that, you know, you have to just tell him once, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be fine. I mean, what bothered me more about the whole situation was the fans of getting on him where I want him out. But tell me if you would ever hear an Inter fan saying that about Bastoni when he does it. You know, like, come on, give me a break. It was one little thing. I don't know, maybe he didn't get enough sleep the night before or some shit, but he'll never do that again.
He got baited. I think they were making fun of the cut, and that's why he took the line a little bit higher. I think he
maybe
said
that's
something
what it was.
about it.
They
And
baited him.
he walked into J-Med the next day, and he's like, take it up. Okay?
Bring it up.
Take it up.
Him.
That red card's on you, Jay Barbers. Jesus. All right. We're going to wrap things up there, guys. It's going to come down to the wire. It's coming down to the final game. Some of you picked it. Some of you said this thing's going to go down to the bitter end. You talk about what we were just talking about in terms of not getting too high, not getting too low. Literally, there was a point in time where this was in serious jeopardy. Like, serious jeopardy of us not getting Champions League. And I still see people that are making the comment, there's nothing to celebrate. This season is a disaster. Look, there is a big difference between celebrating, as you see the thumbnail that says one more win, Champions League trophy there for qualification. It would be massive for us not to get in. We need the revenue. We need the money. We don't want to take another bond there from Exor. They should be throwing that bond in anyway so that we can get serious and really attack next season. That's just my opinion. But look, like, this thing was in serious jeopardy. There's a difference between celebrating and being relieved and being happy. It's okay to be relieved. It's okay to be happy for qualifying for Champions League because, yeah, it's better than the alternative. You could go into one of the other European competitions. You see revenue, but not to the tune of what you get at a Champions League. That's the reality. Right now, if you're looking to build, which we are, more revenue is exactly what you need, not taking it away. So make no mistake about it. No one is claiming that this season is a good season, or we're celebrating. No, we're not celebrating. We're being happy for the best outcome of what we were facing. That's the reality. And yeah, I'm always going to want the best for Juve. And right now, that's the best for Juve, is qualifying for Champions League. The alternatives are not good, and we might see some changes that we don't want to happen. Right now, I keep preaching, there are very strong positive signs with Chiellini stepping in, getting a promotion, getting more involved. They want to keep grooming the upper management. Thank you, football gods, because those other guys were crazy. I think somebody was cheering on a goal and woke up Ferraro yesterday. It looked like he was rubbing his eyes, like the guy just got up. This guy is a joke. I don't want to see the camera go on to him. If I worked at Juve, I'd say, guys, stop putting this panda bear on the fucking screen, okay?
He looks miserable.
Don't worry about this guy.
He looks miserable all the time.
It's crazy. Like, get this guy out of there. But upper management, yes, we're finally seeing some positive signs on issues that needed to be addressed a while ago. Okay? So take that as a major positive. Qualifying for Champions League would be a huge positive as well. Okay? But in terms of the season, it's a bare minimum objective. That's the reality. That's where we're at. Okay? One more game to go. Let's finish it up. Again, congratulations to Iorio and Antonio for winning the kits. Reach out. We'll get them in place. You guys, you know the drill. Keep you in the loop on the news. And then we got one last goal. Take care of business against Venezia. Pre-game show is going to be on, and watch along is going to be on the final one of the season. Want to see you all around for that weekend. We may even have the last giveaway. For Club World Cup, I told everybody the plans have changed. There's no more DC involved for me, sadly. It will be just Philly. And I am currently in the works on working for a private meetup at Xfinity Live in Philadelphia the night before the match. Okay? JOFC members and AJC Army members. All right? We're going to do something special, have fun. And I always come bearing gifts. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Mas, you're going to be there. Sev's going to be there. We're going to have a lot of fun. And if you're going to plan on going to that game, reach out to us. We'd love to see you at the event. And tailgating, there's going to be fan events. All I'm going to tell you is you're going to want to be a member of an official fan club. Okay? Guys, enjoy your Mondays, top of the week. I was going to say weekend because over here, Victoria Day, baby. Long weekend for us. Seth, not so much for you, but that's okay. That's okay. You guys, an absolute pleasure. Sev and Mas, absolute pleasure today, fellas. Had a lot of fun today. Chat, you guys are the absolute best. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, as always, no matter what, amici di nessuno. Fino alla fine, forza Juventus. You're either with us or you're against us. And to the ones against us, let's go.